Henrique Veloso says, what's the difference between some, any? Okay. Now, some and any are both called quantifiers, and there are a lot of different quantifiers. Basically, they tell you amounts of things. They tell you about different amounts of things. Now, there are two broad classes of quantifiers. There are quantifiers for uncountable nouns, and there are quantifiers for countable nouns. A quantifier for an uncountable noun would be something that you can't count, like time. And there you would use a word that goes with a word like time, a quantifier that goes like time, that tells you that it can't be counted, but also gives you a sense of the amount of time, right? So can I say, for example, a lot of time? Yes, I can. Okay, so a lot can be used for uncountable nouns. Can I say many time? I can't say many time. Okay, so many may be for countable nouns, and a lot can be for uncountable nouns, all right? How about some? Okay, can I say some time? Yes, I can say some time. Great. But can I say some eggs? Yes, I can. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know what's going on there. What about a quantifier for specifically a countable noun? How about a few? A few eggs. That is a small number of eggs. A few times. No. All right, so we're getting an idea of which ones go with countable and uncountable, but is it possible that some go with both? Let's go back to some. Some eggs, some time. That sounds right for both of them, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So some is a very useful quantifier because it can be used for both countable and uncountable nouns. Many is only for countable nouns. A few is only for countable nouns. And I mean, there are a lot of these quantifiers, so we could explore this. A lot is for either one. We can say a lot of time, a lot of eggs. Okay, so a lot is used for both countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Now, what's the difference between some eggs and a lot of eggs? Some time, a lot of time. Well, it's not super clear because these are subjective. What do you think a lot is? If you're an egg farmer or a chicken farmer, then you see 50 eggs and you maybe don't think that's a lot. But I'm just a regular person and I consider 12 eggs to be a lot. So that's a lot to me. It is subjective, right? If we say some, that's a very, very fuzzy word, actually. We generally think of some as a smaller number, right? If I say some eggs, I might think that means 5 or 6 eggs, but everyone has a different idea about what that might mean. Because if I say, let's get some eggs for the party, we're going to make, for example, deviled eggs. That's a party thing. We're going to make a giant egg salad. So I say, let's get some eggs at the supermarket. That could be 36 eggs, which is some when I'm talking about it. But in other situations, when I see 36 eggs, I say, that's a lot of eggs. So it's very subjective. Some and a lot, these two, and a lot of other quantifiers. Very subjective. Okay. So hopefully that gives you a sense of some. It's very flexible, both countable and uncountable. However, there is that sort of fuzziness and subjectivity that you have to think about. Sometime, just wait. After some time, you'll feel better. Okay. I'm having an allergic reaction to some to some flowers that I sniffed. I sniffed them and I'm having an allergic reaction. Just give it some time. You'll be okay. Well, how much time? It depends on the person. Some time could be 10 minutes and it could be 5 hours. I got a mosquito bite on my thumb the other day. And someone could have said it started to swell up my whole thumb, not just a spot, my entire thumb. And someone said, give it some time, where they could say that. Nobody said that. I was alone. Give it some time. Okay, that doesn't tell me how much time, but all right, I will. I thought it was going to go away in an hour. It went away in 3 days. My thumb was swollen for 3 days. So it's very ambiguous and unclear. That's how it works. Any. So any is an interesting one because any is to talk about more than zero or can emphasize a zero amount. None is another one of those, right? It's often used as a question. For example, do we have any milk? Do we have any milk? If the answer is no, no. That means we have zero milk. No milk. We have no milk. Do we have any milk? Yes, we have a lot. Okay. So this any is not to tell you the amount of something usually. It's usually about whether it's none or any amount over none, which is some, a lot, a huge amount of milk. It doesn't tell you the amount. It's just a yes or no question, usually. So while you could answer, no, we don't have any milk, usually the answer is going to be no or yes. And then someone will say, how much? We say, oh, we have 1 quart of milk, or however much we have, right? If you want to make a statement, it's time to go to the supermarket. Why? We don't have any milk. We don't have any milk. I'm saying we have zero milk. We have no milk. It's a good way to make that statement. Don't have any. It's often used in the negative. It would be strange to say, we have any milk. If you're making a positive statement, you're not asking the question, but making a positive statement, probably better to say, we have milk. We have some milk, right? So any is more often used in the negative. Don't have any. Unless it's a question. Do we have any? Which is pretty common. Hopefully that answers your question. Henrique, got to get a feeling for these. The best thing you can do is just look out for examples and you'll get a feeling for it.